Good evening. We are coming to you live from the Kibani Social Hall here in Kilifi County. The devolved unit, known for its breathtaking oceanic view that contributes immensely to the country's tourism sector, hosts the 5th edition of the Transgenerational Conversation that seeks to build a bridge between the young and the old. This morning, we had the opportunity to traverse the vast and bustling town of Kilifi, and we gathered some vox pops that we'll be sharing with you in just a few before our audience are also going to have an opportunity to interact with the panel of experts who are drawn from various fields who are already gathered here. And of course, this session is exclusively live on KBC Channel 1, courtesy of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, as well as the Korean International Cooperation Agency, including other key stakeholders who will be introduced in just a while. From wherever you're watching us from, talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. Remember to use the hashtag Amanico Ground, and we'll sample some of the views as this session continues. Good evening once more. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. However, I am not alone.
Kweli kabisa, hujambo mtazamaji popote pale ulipo, na bila shaka hatimaye tumetua katika eneo la Pwani, kaunti ikiwa ni ya Kilifi, angalau tupunge unyunyu wa bahari tukizungumza na wananchi. Bila shaka mtazamaji, upande huu nitakuwa nawapa wananchi fursa ya kuuliza maswali au kuchangia kwenye mjadala huu, maanake tunafahamu ya kwamba mazungumzo si mazungumzo bila sauti ya mwananchi. Hayo yote itakuwa ni hapo baadaye. Jina langu ni Nancy Okware, lakini kwa sasa na urejeshe usukani kwake Abdiaziz Hashim.
Shukran Okware. Welcome to the 5th edition of the Transgenerational Conversation, live from Kilifi County. And of course, we start our panel of experts this evening. We start off on the farthest end, Bishop Lewa, presiding Bishop of the Joy Fellowship Ministries. He holds a master's degree from Pwani University and a bachelor's of divinity from St. Paul's University, currently pursuing a PhD at Pwani University. He is also chairing the Governor's Task Force on Early Teenage Pregnancies in Kilifi County. Bishop, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Next to the Bishop, we do have Faith Nasike. She is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and a representative from AWAPSA. Welcome, Faith.
Thank you.
And next to Faith, we also do have a Gen Z on the panel. We have Brian Ngugi Kamande. He is the immediate former Pwani University Christian Union president. He is a 4th-year student at Pwani University, currently pursuing a bachelor's degree in education. Brian, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
And finally, as always, we need to have a representative from NCIC. We do have Ms. Millicent Okach, an NCIC Director of Research and Knowledge Management with over 22 years of executive leadership in program management, peace building and institutional development across government and international NGOs. She also served as NCIC Acting Commission Secretary, CEO in 2020, as well as she worked at the World Vision Kenya for 12 years, with the last appointment as the National Programs and Grants Coordinator. Millicent, karibu sana. And of course, maybe we start off this particular program. Continue to talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. Remember to always use the hashtag Amanico Ground, and we'll sample some of your views as the session continues. Also, our audience are currently seated. They will have the opportunity to interact with our panel of experts. Maybe let me start with you, Millicent. Given that you do know these conversations are ongoing at a time when the country is still mourning a leader who had advocated for a conclave, for a dialogue. So is this that dialogue, or is this an exercise just in futility?
Thank you very much. I think it's even now even more critical and important as we remember.
Okay, let's sort out your mic. Let me. No, it's okay. Let me start. I will ask you that question. But let me head over to our senior here, Bishop. Bishop, maybe I pose that question to you. Our country has currently has lost a leader who had advocated for a conclave, a dialogue. Do you believe, as a religious representative in this country and in this county, that this exercise is set to achieve something, or is it an exercise in futility?
Thank you. First of all, let me also say my condolences to the family and all to the ODM fraternity and Kenyans in general. Indeed, the death of the former Prime Minister is is something that actually is not any other death of any ordinary person. And I believe even in this discussion is very important because we are talking to the whole country, and particularly the young people, the ODM fraternity itself, and I believe it's going to help them to come together in terms of cohesion, in terms of living together in peace and resolving their differences in a peaceful way. Wherever there are some differences within their party, they should be able to come together and resolve whatever the differences. So I do believe this discussion is going to be of great importance to everybody, not only to the ODM, but even outside the ODM itself. It's going to be of great importance.
Okay. And Faith, similar question to you, but with a little bit of a twist. When it comes to these dialogues, it has been happening all the way from Marsabit, went to Nairobi, then to Kisumu, Busia. Currently, we are in Kilifi.
Yes.
In your view, do you think it is achieving what it was intended to be?
I think it is. There is never a better time to have this conversation, especially now that the Prime Minister, our former Prime Minister, is dead. And my sincere condolences. And we need to have these discussions all over the country, especially on the forthcoming general elections. We need to do something right now before. It's better to prevent. It's actually cheaper to prevent violence than to get to the point where violence has already ensued and there's nothing that we can do. So I really think it's really important. Yes.
And then Brian, given that this leader, great leader, had advocated for a conclave, you as the youth, are you ready to listen?
Yes, speaking on behalf of the youth, we have had situations whereby even as we have lost our former Prime Minister, condolences, that we are also coming to a point, even after listening to what our peers have to tell us, we are inclining our ears to listen and also take a turn for the better path. So I believe this conversation will help us as the youth and even as a generation to take up the task, not just to use our energy for violence, but also to be the instruments of change and also for a progressive future. Thank you. Yeah.
And Millicent, I do believe we have sorted out your technical glitch. Maybe you can have your voice.
Okay, yes, nice, clear. Yeah, thank you very much. And this conversation is coming at a better time just to reflect the past of Kenya, where we have come from. And to NCIC is critically important because we are a creation, as an institution, we are a creation of watch election. And if you remember 2008 and 2007 and 2008, we had the post-election violence, which put our country on the international map, and we were on the brink of civil war completely. And it was as a result of dialogue and mediation led by the late Kofi Annan, and Raila was amongst the first people who shook hand with President, the late Kibaki. So Kilifi, I think you are very much blessed for us to hold this conversation today and just reflecting where we have come from a country and why conversations are important. And so we had the first handshake that enabled NCIC to be created, and again come 2017, again you were on the brink, and again there was shaking of hands. So really there is the power of dialogue when people come together, talk about issues of national importance, and sometimes you have to attain a win-win situation, and that is what has happened in the past, and we continue to advocate for that. And so we are here today to talk about conversation and to talk about dialogue, and for us to understand that these things are critical, especially when it comes to national cohesion and peace building of our country. Thank you.
And maybe going back to the Bishop, given that the men of cloth, mainly people in this country, listen to you vigorously, in terms of ensuring that we are able to bridge between the gap between the Gen Zs, the millennials, the Gen X, all generations, and with the current generations that came before them, what do you think that first step should be?
The last part of your question says?
Yes, I'm saying, what should be the first step in bridging the gap between all the generations in our country?
Thank you. I think the first step in terms of breaking the gap between the different age groups, particularly the Gen Z and the old, first of all, we need to have that soberness and know who we are. What stage are we? Each age group has a role at a particular point in life. And there are so many things, actually, probably as older people, we may not be able to understand the young people in many areas, particularly at this level. So we need to understand one another. Then we'll be able now to see how we can handle different scenarios within the community, because that is very important. If I understand this young person, the Gen Z, or whichever level, I will be able to know how to dialogue and to know how to handle the issues which are confronting that person. And I think that will help us, because we have different knowledge. Some of us have histories which the young people or the Gen Z don't know. So we need to understand and be able to accept one another, listen to one another, and be ready to hear from the other.
And indeed, of course, listening is the first step. Before I hand it over to my colleague, let me just rope in Faith. Faith, in terms of what this dialogue has been able to achieve over the counties, but what leaders have been advocating for, as well as the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, what would you say is the missing link that has created that divide between the generations?
I think lack of dialogue, for lack of a better term. I think we are focusing on the wrong things. The problem is the violent extremism. It's not the youth. It's not the women. It's not the. So we are supposed to come together, sit down, have a conversation on how we are going to attack this problem. So, and the youth, the women, and the elderly, like Bishop has already said, they each play a very pivotal role. You cannot ignore one voice. You cannot ignore the voice of women, and you cannot ignore the voice of the Gen Zs or the voice of the elders, because they have a past. So I think the dialogue is what is really missing. We assume that everyone knows, yes.
Indeed, we assume.
Yes.
That is the key thing. But on the violent extremism part, we'll be coming back to that. But let me hand it over to my colleague, Nancy. Good evening once more. What do you have on your end?
Upande huu wa pili, kama nilivyosema, ni kwamba nitakuwa nachukua maswali na hata mchango wa wananchi, lakini utaniruhusu tu nianze na baadhi ya washikadau ambao wamewasili hapa leo hii, na pengine tu tukianza upande huu wa mbele, angalau tupate mchango wake kamanda wa polisi katika kaunti ya Kilifi, Bwana Omaria. Utatueleza tu kuhusiana na masuala ya usalama, ama mchango wako tu kuhusiana na huu mjadala wote wa amani humu nchini. Utasimama tu kisha nitakushikia.
Shukran sana. Kwa majina ni Reginald Omaria, kamanda mkuu wa polisi kaunti hii ya Kilifi. Kuhusu mjadala huu, napenda kusema hii ni step nzuri ambao tunaichukua. Na vile imeulizwa hapo mwanzo kwamba ni step ipi ambao ni muhimu sana katika kuleta maybe solutions katika differences zetu ambazo tuko nazo. Mwanzo nataka kusema ni kuweza kuzungumziana pamoja, ni kuweza kusikiza kwa makini. Ni katika kufanya hivyo ndio tunaweza tukapata kujua tofauti zetu ziko wapi. Tunaweza tukapata kujua suluhisho za tofauti zetu ni zipi. Kutoka hapo ndio tuweze kuchagua suluhisho kabambe ya kuweza kumaliza shida ama tofauti zetu ambazo tutakuwa nazo. Asante.
Na asante sana kwa mchango wako. Vile vile kuna washikadau kutoka tume ya IEBC, na ningependa pengine kuzungumza naye afisa mkuu wa masuala ya uchaguzi Bwana John Mwawasi. Utasimama tafadhali. Karibu sana, shukrani sana kwa kuzungumza nasi. Kama IEBC tunaelekea katika uchaguzi, tunajua kwamba uchaguzi ni swala ambalo kwa Kiingereza wanasema emotive. Hebu tu tuzungumze kuhusiana na hili swala, mambo ya amani hasa katika kaunti hii ya Kilifi.
Shukran sana kwa kutukaribisha hapa siku ya leo. Kwanza kabisa yangu yatakuwa labda ni mambo mawili kuhusu peace. La kwanza kabisa kuhusu kuvijana ni tuzidi kuweka inclusivity ya youth into matters of the public affairs. That means hata kama vijana watakuwa wakiregister kuwa voters, tusiwawache hapo kuwa ati wao watabaki ni voters. Tuwasaidie katika kiwango kingine ambayo wanaweza kuwa pia ni candidates ambao wanaweza kushughulikia masuala ya administration ya hii serikali, ama in terms of political inclusivity. Wao katika wasiwe kuwa ni voters peke yao, wao pia wameingia katika class nyingine ambao wanaweza kuwa ni elected leaders. Tuko na elective positions ni nyingi ambazo the youth can also participate in that way. The youth watakuwa na participate katika national building. La pili ni pia tunatakana pia tuheshimu human rights ambazo ni za youth. That means including the freedom of the expression, freedom of economic freedom. Tukifanya katika hiyo, tukipatiana katika hizo human rights zao, I think tuko tunawaleta pamoja na kutakuwa hakuna ile brushing na the youth.
Asante sana kwa kuzungumza nasi. Vile vile tunayo makundi ya kijamii. Ningependa kuzungumza naye Bwana David Zero. Utaniruhusu tu nifike upande huu, manake sauti ya makundi ya jamii ni muhimu sana. Shukrani sana kwa kuzungumza nasi.
Okay, asante sana. Jina langu mimi naitwa Zero David na nina represent the civil society organization. Miongoni mwetu tuko na zaidi ya mashirika takriban 20 ambayo yako hapa, na kwa mjadala huu ni wakati hususan mwafaka kabisa kwa sababu hali ya kitaifa ambao tuko kwa sasa. Kitu ambacho naweza husia ama kusuggest ni kwamba wakati mikakati inafanywa na serikali kuu na serikali ya county, mashirika ambayo ya serikali yahusishwe, kwa sababu sisi we are auxiliary to both county and national government. So kwa kila steps ambazo zinafanywa na serikali ya county na serikali kuu waweze kutuhusisha, kwa sababu sisi tuko kule nyanjani na sisi ndo tuko na more information, na kwa information hii tutazidi kushirikiana na kusaidiana. Asante.
Na asante sana kwa mchango wako, na vile vile tuko naye makundi ya kufanya biashara. Tuko naye Jonathan Kalama. Utasimama tu tafadhali, tuzungumze nawe kuhusiana na mchango wenyu na pia yale ambayo mnahisi yanastahili kufanywa kuhakikisha mazingira ya kufanya biashara yanaimarika. Kwa kifupi.
Asante sana, nashukuru kwa ajili ya kupata nafasi, hasa katika upande wa biashara. Wale mambo ni kwamba biashara ndiyo kiinua uchumi wa watu, na vijana, wazee, wa mama napoendelea kuwezeshwa na kupata uwezo wa kufanya biashara, basi tunaendelea kupata mkate mezani. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru kwa wakati wa kuendelea kuzungumza, kila mmoja wetu kuweza kupata the channels za kupata credit, channels za kuweza kupartnership na kufanya biashara, ili tuendelee kujiinua na kuinua uchumi. Asante kwa leo.
Asante sana. Kwa sasa ningependa kurejesha usukani kwake Abdiaziz Hashim, kisha tutaendelea na maswali zaidi na vile vile kupata maswali kutoka kwa wananchi.
Thank you, Nancy. And of course, we'll continue gathering views from the audience who have congregated here, and also you watching us wherever you're watching us from. Talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 using the hashtag #AmaniKwaGround. But I want to recircle on the conversations that we are having here with our panel. Let me go to Brian. Brian, statistics are showing that many youths are engaging both online and offline on violent extremism. What could be the contributing factors to such an effect?
Yeah, thank you very much. So for the online world, it has become so prominent in that it's a world that is far be it from me to say that it's very open, it's very engaging, so that you find that most of the time you're hiding behind a screen. Therefore, it has become so easy for people to disassociate themselves personally from what they are putting out there. So when it comes now to the online world or the social media platforms, you get to see that even as the youth, when you're engaging in this world, it's easy to allow yourself to go beyond. Like I was trying to even engage some of the young people around the school here in Pwani University and asking them, is there an association between the person that is expressed on the social media platform and the real person? And most of them could just respond, there is no association. Therefore, you can find someone is actually going to the extreme part of engaging people in violent words or anything that is violent online are disassociated from themselves. Therefore, what we usually consider as human conscience does not really apply to them in that situation. Yeah. So that's my view.
Millicent, because we know the effect of that when it comes to the cohesion of the country, but when it comes to violent extremism, how very precarious would it be to the peace of this country?
Of course, it's very relevant to social cohesion because violent extremism itself is a way in which the society is seeking attention. They have some grievances that they have held, some aspirations which they have desired and it has not been met. So they begin to seek solace elsewhere in a way to seek revenge. It's like we are going to hurt you as a country because you have not listened to us. And mostly you'll find that those who are culpable are the youth. First, they're very agile. They are largely recruited without even knowing. Secondly, they also lack means of livelihood. So that makes them very vulnerable for recruitment. And just to speak on matters of violent extremism, recently we conducted a study on hate speech and dangerous speech. And what emerged was that there's a very thin line between hate speech and dangerous speech and violent extremism. Hate speech and dangerous speech is one gateway leading to violent extremism. And when you look at the sentiments that are there on the online social media spaces, they're largely gearing towards incitement. And if they go prolonged, they create the feeling of hatred. And if this hatred is not resolved for a longer duration of time, these are the individuals who are very culpable for recruitment towards violent extremism. So we really want to urge the youth to really think about the status of the nation and to have these conversations so that whatever issues that are in there, we begin to converse so that we're able to translate them into real action. And also to the larger stakeholders, we should be able to address the immediate needs of the youth that would make them vulnerable to recruitment of violent extremism. And some of those immediate needs are such like employment opportunities. It's very critical for the youth because post-graduation, they have that as aspiration to become meaningful citizens who are able to provide for their needs and to the society as a whole. So we really appreciate that the current administration is really working hard towards ensuring creation of this opportunity. And today we had an opportunity with the DCC of Kilifi, and he was able to share with us at great length some of the plans that have been lined up for Kilifi, just to be able to bring the youth to their understanding and to address their immediate needs. Thank you.
Okay, maybe let me head over to Bishop. Bishop, this is a problem facing not just Kilifi, but countrywide in various sectors and mostly affecting the youth as clearly elaborated here by Brian and Millicent. But in terms of what the religious leaders are doing in this country to address this particular menace, I should call it, what have you done so far here in Kilifi?
Thank you. Violent extremism, let me say, indeed here in Kilifi, has been manifested in different ways and forms. And the social media, of course, being an open platform, it's an open world. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry goes into social media, says, preaches, does anything. You know very well here in Kilifi we have had the Shakahola, now we have Binzaro, the Shakahola too. We've had very nasty incidences, like the killing of the elders. Also, there's a lot of GBV here in Kilifi. Early teenage pregnancies, and so bad things. Now, there is a lot of indoctrination also in many religious organizations or institutions. So we have all those problems here in Kilifi. And because I happened again to be a member of the Presidential Task Force on the religious issues, which of course we came up with a report. But I want to say that as religious people here in Kilifi, we have tried our level best, and we are trying our level best. First of all, we have formed some clergy associations, the pastors' fellowships, the bishops' council, and many other associations, whereby we are talking, we are agreeing that in case if there will be any one of us going outside the tenets, the agreement, the scriptures, we should be able to handle that person. Either we counsel him, or we caution him, or we guide him. Understanding that quite a number of pastors here in Kilifi have not gone to Bible school, quite a number of them. We are encouraging them to go to Bible school so that they'll be able to interpret the scriptures in the right way and preach the right gospel. So it's a challenge, but we are moving, we are trying to make sure that such incidences don't happen again. It's really pathetic, whatever happened in 2023 and now Binzaro, it's really disturbing. And we are very much concerned indeed. Yes.
Okay, Bishop, we'll be circling back to that. Before I toss it off to my colleague, that is Nancy Okwari, maybe, Faith, you could tell us, in terms of what the Constitution is saying, given that you're an advocate of the High Court, what is it eroding? What key tenets is violent extremism eroding from our Constitution? And have we reached to that level that we are even considering making amendments to the Constitution to address such a concern?
Article 27, Article 28, Article 29 of the Constitution, right to life, right to dignity, and also Article 49, 50, and 51 when it comes to the detainees, those who've been detained when it comes to violent extremism. Some of them are not getting a fair hearing when they're detained. Under the Porter Act, some of them are being brutalized. So there's still much to be done. I think there's a lot of violation of the Constitution so far, but the best thing we can do is to sensitize the community when they know. Now you see, knowledge is power. When someone doesn't know that their right is being infringed, they tend to just sit on it and move forward. So most of the rights are truly infringed. So there's something that we really need to do about it. Yes.
Now let's drop in our audience there. Okware, over to you.
Asante sana Abdiaziz Hashim, na tunazidi tu kuchukua maswali. Hivyo basi, ikiwa una swali utainua mkono. Ulikuwa umeinua mkono awali, utasimama tu tueleze jina lako na mchango wako ni upi kwa mjadala huu wa leo.
Asante sana. Kwa jina naitwa Jacob Siria, nikiwa kiongozi wa watu wanaoishi na ulemavu Kilifi. na nataka nishukuru sana kwa huu mjadala wa leo, na pia niweze kuridhia mchango wa baba yetu the former prime minister. Wale ambao wameongea juu ya dialogue, I remember in the year 2007 baba alisisitiza watu waje pamoja, waje wazungumze, na hapo inakumbukwa kwamba ndipo aliposema ya kwamba let us come a dialogue if still we can, na watu wakakuja pamoja na vita vikaisha. Mimi nikiwa ninaongea kwa niaba ya watu wenye ulemavu, slogan ya dunia ni leaving no one behind in all aspects of life, na pale nimekuwa nikiangalia the transgenerational conversation, a quest for better governance, social and political accountability. Na ninashukuru sana ndugu zangu hapa wa ABC. Nikakumbuka maneno yalionenwa na Moses in the betrayal in the city, kwamba ilikuwa vyema wakati tulipokuwa tukingoja, na wakati tulipokipata kile tulichokuwa tukingoja mambo yakabadilika, tukawa tumepoteza muda wetu, na hao sasa wakawa ni viongozi, sasa wakawa wako katika harakati ya kupoteza maisha yetu. Mimi ninajua kabisa kwamba katiba, that is the center of everything, and there is the affirmative action. For us to attain everything which is written there, we should reflect the correct semantic of the legal statements. Sasa kama tutakuwa tunasema ya kwamba we are moving together and we don't have the data, where shall we be heading? So kidogo ni kwamba for us to attain the true meaning of peace, we should do away with any kind of medievalistic thinking and to adapt the scientific approach.
Asante. Naam, asante sana kwa mchango wako, na pia ulikuwa umeinua mkono. Utatueleza jina lako na mchango wako ni upi kwa mzungumzo ya leo kwa kifupi sana.
Kwa majina naitwa Tumaini Elisha Fondo. Mimi nikiwa ni mama mtaa wa hapa sokoni. Asanteni sana watu wa KBC kwa kuja na mjadala kama huu. Nafikiria hata ni mara ya kwanza hapa Kilifi kuwa na mjadala wazi kama hivi. Kwa mchango wangu mimi kama mzee wa mtaa ni mtu wa kuweka amani, na sisi tunashukuru, huwa tunashikana na makomishena wetu wa polisi, tunaweka amani. Hata kama fujo ziko huwa, lakini tukiingilia tunaweka amani. Kwa mchango mwingine kwa hawa vizazi vyetu, jameni, vile serikali Raila ameichanganya pamoja, tumekuwa kitu kimoja. Tunachoomba wale waliobaki wakae pamoja na kuwatafutia hawa vijana wetu shughuli ya kufanya, kwa sababu kijana akiwa anafanya shughuli haezi kuacha shughuli zake na aandamane. Lakini hata wewe mzazi usomeshe watoto wafike 4 university, wako hapo nyumbani hawana kazi yoyote, kweli wewe utaweza kuwazuia wasifanye maandamano? Wanafanya maandamano kwa sababu wamekushinda, hawana kazi ya kufanya. Tunachoomba serikali, vile mzeni kama alikuwa anajua mimi nitaondoka, akashikanisha, wakae pamoja na watafutie hawa vijana shughuli za kufanya.
Asante sana. Asante. Kuna mwingine alikuwa ameinua mkono upande ule, nitafika pale kisha nitakuwa narejea kwa wengine. Utasimama tu kwa kifupi sana jina lako na mchango wako nitakushikia.
My name is Sheila Salim. I'm also a member of the CSO's network. My food for thought ni for the longest time, hata ukisikiza panel, imekuwa ni kutaja vijana. So clearly we've given them labels. They are vulnerable, they are radicalized, but what strategies can we put in place to make those labels move away? Because we cannot just talk about dialogue peke yake. Majadiliano yatakuwa, but tunahitaji mikakati zaidi kuona kupitia zile tume ambazo zimewekwa, mashirika na pia sisi vijana wenyewe.
Asante. Asante sana kwa mchango wako. Utasimama tafadhali. Tueleze jina lako kwa kifupi tu kama alivyofanya, nitakushikia.
Habari ya jioni, kwa majina naitwa Margaret Ziza Mwachiro. Mimi ni daktari. Na kusema kweli dadangu hapa ameongea jambo muhimu, dadangu pale pia ameongea jambo muhimu. Huyu kijana ama huyu mama akiwa hana lolote la kufanya la kuleta chakula kwa tumbo, atatoka. Hata hii hasira yote, hii uchungu yote ni kwa sababu hana chochote anaweza kushikilia. Kijana wa leo hana kazi, hana nyumba, hana chochote. Ataingia kwa madawa ya kulevya, ataingia katika extremism. So kando na kusema tutaendelea kuongea, nafikiri katika nchi ya Kenya tumeongea vya kutosha. Sasa ni tutoke katika step ya kuongea, tufike katika nyanja za tutafanyaje, tutakuwa na innovation gani. Nataka kutoa mfano. Nimepita pale Mavueni, mimi nimetoka Kilifi South na nafikiri wengi wametoka Kilifi North. Hawa vijana wanauza njugu, watauza njugu mpaka lini? Na nikawa naongea na mwenzangu, viongozi walio mamlakani, this big land in Kilifi, kwa nini wasiwaze wakaikwipo hawa vijana, walime wao wenyewe njugu, basi wazikaange, waziuze. That is where we want to go. Lakini dialogues zishatushocha sisi ni nyingi na ni za kila siku.
Asante kweli. Kuna mengi sana. Utasimama kwa kifupi angalau kila mmoja apate nafasi. Tutachukua swali lako kisha tutarejea baadaye.
Asante sana. Jina langu naitwa Regina Chishenga. Nimetoka hapa Kilifi. Swali langu nikichangia katika upande wa amani na hivyo vita ambavyo hutokea. Swali langu ninaona kwa sababu nchi yetu inaongozwa na viongozi ambao tunawachagua. IBC wamekuwa kilio chetu sisi wananchi. Kwa sababu wale ambao tunawachagua sio ambao huwa wanapata kura. Kwa hivyo IBC mna mpango gani ambao mnatupangia? Kwa sababu nyinyi ndio ambao mmetufeli. La kwanza. La pili, mnaongea kuhusu katiba, constitution. Hii katiba inakuwa violated sawa, lakini inakuwa violated kwa yule mwananchi ambaye ni mnyonge. Yule ambaye ako sawa anapofanya makosa yeye huwa haadhibiwi, lakini mwananchi mnyonge katiba inaendwa kinyume. Ya pili, kuna uchoyo wa viongozi. Wale viongozi ambao tunawachagua, kama viongozi wale tunawachagua sisi wenyewe wangekaa katika uongozi, kungekuwa hakuna uchoyo. Sisi kina mama tunateseka kwa sababu kuna pesa inapewa viongozi wa kina mama, the women rep, ambao walikuja kwa sababu ya hii katiba ambayo ilitetewa na Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Samahani mama.
Asante, muda umekwisha. Kwa sasa wacha nirejeshe usukani kwake Abdi Aziz Hashim kwanza. Tafadhali, swali ni moja kwa kifupi angalau kila mmoja apate nafasi. Abdi Aziz Hashim.
Asante sana Nancy Okwaren. Do not be worried, we'll be going back. We are still here until 8:50. So do not worry, we'll take you back to our audience to continue carry this particular conversation. But let me start with you, Millicent. You can hear from the cries that are being made by the great people of Kilifi. Let's start. They're saying they have been talking too much, they have been talking too much. When will they start seeing action?
Yeah, thank you very much. We love the discussion. If you remember, in 2024 June, when the Gen Z protests began, they never wanted anything to do with dialogue. They did not even want to talk. And so we sat as a commission and realized a commission that is mandated with national cohesion. It was important for us to look for ways in which people can dialogue. We cannot move to the next step of translating things to action when there are grievances. We first of all must come to a consensus and agree that there is a challenge. Isolate the very issues that we are talking about. Then from there, we are able now to translate to the next action. And so for us, gathering the views of the citizen was very critical. And so having gathered the views, we're able now to translate them into strategic action. And we have been listening. This is the 5th transgenerational conversation. And some of the critical issues that are emerging is about leadership. Devolution came, and the citizens are speaking about critical issues about devolution. And so for us is to isolate those issues and to include relevant stakeholders, because nation building cannot be entrusted with one institution. It's a collective responsibility, even for the citizen. Hata wananchi wenyewe wako na jukumu la kujenga taifa lenyewe. Na ndio maana katika mjadala huu imekuwa jukumu letu tulete washikadau hawa kama IBC juu wako na responsibility ya conduct general election. So part of our role as NCIC is to create a network and to bring all the relevant stakeholders to begin to address these issues. Like, for example, you've talked about issues of concern about justice. There cannot be peace without justice. So it is the role of NCIC to be able to link with the judiciary, with the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution, so that justice can happen to all. So those are some of the practical actions that needs to take place for us to have a cohesive society. The danger with peace building is sometimes the results are not tangible. But when there is the absence of peace, that's when you begin to see how critical peace is important. So the matters that we are talking about here is very crucial. We cannot have development without peace. So once there is stability in terms of cohesion and peace, then now development can happen. The roads can happen. Children can go to school. Businesses can flourish. So I really want us to see the relevance and the importance of engaging as different stakeholders before these other things can happen. Thank you.
Brian, as a response to the similar questions and concerns that have been raised by the people of Kilifi, the other main issue that has been brought out is talking about the youth engaging in various economic activities. One of our mothers clearly stated that kuna vijana wanauza njugu pale. Why not empower them to the extent that they grow it and at the end of the day they sell it?
Yeah, thank you. So when you look at the Kenyan youth, currently, even for the students in the universities, in our government institutions, they are currently idle because of the ongoing lecturer strike. And for the current moment, it's becoming more harder to hold accountable our government, and even as youth, now that is even the challenge that comes to us. Because the academics that we get from school are mostly theoretical. And now that even in this period, the students are currently engaging in business activities, but most of them are running to simple jobs such as selling of eggs and even burning of mahindi. So these small businesses are very good to hold on to, but there are greater tasks that the government can really chip in, such as creating an avenue. Like, the greatest resource is not in the land, but the people who are on the land. And as the youth, we've not been empowered to actually take hold of the resource, because Kenya as a nation, we have great resource, just as our mother has mentioned, because we have a lot of land, even here in Kilifi County, but the equipping of the young generation or even the youth to actually make use of the available resources in order to greater enhance the income and even the development of the nation. Yes, we need that piece so that we can be able to make development something that is progressive. But what about those people? Like, I love how Ajira has been working, because youth currently, even during this period, are currently going to have Ajira skill training and online business training. That is helping venture into the online platform. But even here in the ground, we don't have that avenue for enhancing the skill so that people can be able to manipulate the natural resources.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll continue this conversation. The reason why I'm cutting you short, Faith, you'll have the opportunity, Bishop, you'll have the opportunity, our audience as well, you'll have the opportunity, as well as the question that has been posed to IEBC. They are here, that will respond to that particular issue. But for now, I want to hand you over to our colleague, Rosemary.
Thank you, Abdi. Asante sana. We also have the national government here. We have the Deputy County Commissioner, Kilifi, Mr. Samuel Mutisia. He's also the Acting County Commissioner of Kilifi. We have the Senior Assistant County Commissioner, anaitwa Precious Dama. Karibu Bwana DCC na Ngao officials present. Swali kwako Bwana DCC, what is the role of Ngao in peace and security in Kilifi County? And what is your message to the people of Kilifi, especially hawa vijana wanaoongea hapa na pia vizazi vingine? Karibu.
Asante sana, wacha niongee kama nimesimama. Asante kwa kututembelea KBC na asante kuwa na hii conversation ya transgenerational conversation. Itakuwa bora sana niweze kutambua uwepo wa ile kamati ya usalama ambayo huwa tunafanya kazi pamoja, kwa sababu masuala mengi sana hata tukitoka hapa na tukimaliza kuongea yatambaki kushughulikiwa na kamati ya usalama. Mimi ndio chairman wa kamati ya usalama kwa sub-county ya Kilifi na kwa wakati huu kwa county ya Kilifi, na members ambao wako wanaweza kusimama. Nitawatambulisha tu, wataongea kwa ile nafasi niko nayo. Bwana County Police Commander mumemwona na ameweza kuongea. Alafu tuko na Bwana Omaria, tuko na Father Waweru ambaye ndiye Administration Police Commander, County Administration Police Commander. Tuko na Bwana Mutie ambaye ndiye anasimamia prisons. Na prisons pia kuna vijana huko. Now vijana, they are also exposed to vulnerabilities. So being here is very important kusikiza maswala hapa. Alafu tuko na Bwana Rua, is our forest conservator, na tunajua kuna maswala mengi huko. Na Bwana Malibe ambaye ndiye anasimamia KWS, mnaweza kukaa. Alafu pia najua atapata nafasi ya kuongea Madam Precious Dama, anaweza kusimama. Huyu ni the youngest shujaa katika Kilifi County, aliweza kupata tuzo njusi huko Itokwe Stadium kwa sababu ya kuspearhead inclusivity in the way we manage our affairs, the public affairs. Karibu sana. So nataka kuongea niseme hivi. Changamoto iliyoko baina ya visasi tofauti ni kwamba hatuelewani. Mimi nimetoka kile kisasi cha millennials ama generation X ama generation Y, na sasa tuko na generation Z. Sisi huwa kwa sababu ya kukua katika environment ama mazingira tofauti na manjira tofauti, kuna vile tulilelewa na kuna vile tulikuwa na wao. Sasa kuna vile wamekuwa katika yale manjira na environment ama mazingira. Sisi tunakosa kuwaelewa, na wao kwa sababu wanaona tuwaelewi wanatuchukia. Kwa hivyo sasa inakuwa sisi hatuwaelewi, na katika hiyo hali na wao wanaona kwa sababu hatuwaelewi tunawachukia. Sasa inalete tofauti, na sana ile ningeomba ni tuweze kurudisha hii gap iweze kuwa kidogo. Ninyoshe mkono nimuelewe na yeye anikaribie, tuweze kusungumziana. If we offer that, nafasi ya dialogue itakuwa vyema. Ni bora sana nieleze vile serikali inafanya kwa sababu nimepewa hiyo nafasi. Number one, ni kweli tumesungumziana sana, lakini imefika mahali we have now as government to act, and the government is acting. Kwa saa hii internship programs for the youth ambao wamemaliza university graduates haikuwa kitambo, lakini the government imekuja na internship programs ambapo wakimaliza wanaweza pewa nafasi. Hata saa hii tumemaliza interview on behalf of the Public Service Commission where 7,000 youth are being given opportunities in the affordable housing program, waweze kupata nafasi mbalimbali. Wengine ni engineers, wengine wamesomea architecture, waweze kupata nafasi pale ya kukuza zile skills sawa. Kuna nyota program ambayo hata validation inaanza kesho. Juzi tulikuwa na mkutano na PS, alikuwa amekuja na tukaelezwa jinsi ya kuapply on those programs ili uweze kupata pesa ya kukuwezesha kuanzisha biashara. Na hiyo nyota program pia inatambua prior learning such that au kuenda shule, lakini kwa sababu ya kuhusika na mambo 2-3 umeweza kupata maarifa fulani, unaweza kuwa assessed, upewe certificate ambayo sasa unaweza kuapply kazi na hiyo certificate. Tuko na ajira digital programs kama hapa Kilifi North. Sasa tuko na Sokoni, tuko na Masangoni, na najua sasa kuna ingine inajengwa, itaanza kujengwa huko Watamu, ili kuweza kuelimisha vijana wetu jinsi ya kutumia online badala ya kutumia kwa hizi nini mbaya, waweze kusoma jinsi wanaweza kutumia kama kitenga uchumi chao. So tunajua kuna mambo mengi, lakini tutaendelea kuzungumziana na tutaendelea sisi kama national government. Kazi yetu ni kushirikisha programs za serikali na sera za serikali. Sawa, asanteni sana.
Asante Bwana Acting County Commissioner na DCC Kilifi. Turudi kwa Abdi alafu tutarudi kwa county government baada ya mapumziko. Asante.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. And of course, fear not, our audience who are currently here, you will have your opportunity, and kindly, let's stick to at least one question so that everybody can be able to ask a question so that they can be heard at the end of the day. But we're taking a short commercial break. Also, who you're watching us from wherever you're watching us from, talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. The hashtag, remember, is Amani Kwa Ground. Don't go too far.
One of the things we know is that 2 things fade in life, and that is energy, and the second one is time.
So I think what we should be looking at beyond time management is asking ourselves, are we clear and managing the focus?
Layer Premium Flour, nurturing the world. Available in a store near you.
It's art, it's culture, it's fun, it's attitude.
As you can see with me, I have this handkerchief. And is it really a handkerchief or is it?
My name is Kevin Kasioki. Please join me each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Mara ya kwanza nilikuja nikiwa mgonjwa na kwa sasa nimefanya operation. Narudishia shukrani sana kwa kunisaidia.
We promise na tuna deliver. Sisi ni watu wa kusema na kutenda. I don't have enough words. Nakwambia tu Mungu akubariki na Mungu akuzidishie.
Naona pia ndugu yangu Ismail alikuja the same na mkasimama na yeye. Leo tuko na ndugu yetu mwingine kutoka Baringo, pia yeye tunahitaji pia Mungu aweze kuwaguza, anahitaji msaada tu kutoka kwenu. Don't be tired doing good things.
Na wewe umekuja save a life, I can assure you utapona.
Utapona. Na mimi nitapona.
Panel. Also, if you have comments, just aside from questions, you can give out your comment, but kindly, briefly, so that many of you can have a chance to speak. At the end of the day, also you watching us back at home, talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 using the hashtag #AmaniKwaGround. But let me go to Faith quickly. We're going to, before I go to Faith, let's play sound clips of what we had gathered of the great people of Kilifi town early this morning. Then we'll circle back to the conversation.
Imesaidia upande wa biashara kwa sababu amani, kama kuna amani ndo watu wanatulia, wanafanya kazi. Sasa kazi yetu wa bodaboda, pasipokuwa na amani hatuwezi kufanya kazi. Kwa hiyo amani iko, ndo maana hata watu ona tuko hapa tunafanya kazi. Kwa sababu hao viongozi ndo wazee wetu ambao tunawaangalia. Kwa hiyo wao ni wakae, waongee. Sisi kama watakuwa wako tayari kuongea na sisi huu tuko sawa, kwa sababu tunawataka ni amani.
Na tunapanga pia tuzungumuze hiyo, tuwe na forum ya vijana na wazee, na tuone ni wapi sasa wale wazee na vijana watasaidiana katika hii usalama. Na pia His Excellency ambayo amepita, Raila Odinga, alikuwa ni mtu ambaye saa yote alikuwa akitoa maelekeo, na hivi sasa ameenda. Tunaomba wale wanasiasa wote wasije wakaongea mambo ambayo haina maelekeo, hawasikuje kutetesa wananchi kwamba huyu kabila ile kabila hii haitatupeleka mahali.
Kuna amani iko. Kama vijana hivi siku hizi gani, vijana ni wapate kazi, waendelee na kazi. Wasipopata kazi wajua fujo itakuwako, lakini ukiwa kuna kazi utakuwa na imani, kwa sababu kila mtu asubuhi anaotoka anaenda shughulini kwake. Kama mimi nishara kwa shughulini kwangu, nitafanya fujo hivyo? Siwezi kufanya fujo.
Kile wanachofanya, kwa sababu vijana wengi sasa wako kwa bodaboda, wako kwa kuuza malimali, vile wanavyofanya wafanye bidii nayo, ili mwisho wa siku aweze kupata chakula. Ya mwanasiasa ni ya leo, akifaidika anaenda zake. Kwa hivyo mwito wangu wa vijana ni kwamba kile wanachofanya wakaze nayo, ili mwisho wa siku ikifika jioni wapate cha kukula na cha kuweka mfukoni.
Thank you so much. Those are sound clips from the people of Kilifi North earlier this morning, and we'll continue to sample more given that they have gathered here from various parts of Kilifi County to continue with this particular discussion. Before I hand it over to Rosemary, quickly I want to rope in Faith. There is a question that was posed by one of our participants here, clearly about the defiling of the Constitution. In your view, given that you're the protectors of this Constitution, has the Constitution been defiled?
Thank you so much. As I earlier stated, I actually agree with her. I said the Constitution is clearly violated, and I even mentioned those articles where I feel like their rights are being infringed. I am not able to change the judiciary alone. This is supposed to be a partnership. We're supposed to come together, like she said. Maybe they should partner with the ODPP and the judiciary at large, because she says, and it's not just in Kilifi County. These sentiments have been said all over the country, wherever we are, wherever we have cases. Most people complain that whenever when they do not have finances, they don't get justice. I totally agree. So it's high time that this conversation not just be had with the community, but also be taken to the judiciary and the ODPP, so you can see a change. Yes.
And maybe in just 1 minute, Bishop, before I toss it again to our audience, in just 1 minute, you've even heard the voice clips of the people of Kilifi, and some are here talking about it, that the era of tribalism, the era of ethnic division is coming to an end, especially what we saw last year when the Gen Zs came out. They were saying they were tribalists at the end of the day. So are we going to see an end to it?
Ethnicity is an issue, but let me say that Gen Z right now, looking and hearing from them, tribalism is not an issue for them, although it still remains to some of the older people. But this is an issue, of course, when it comes to resources, politics, and that's the biggest challenge right now. But I still believe that ethnicity, as we continue, will not have space in Kenya. And the leaders that we are going to choose, I want to encourage particularly the young people who comprise of 70% of young people below 30 years. I think that's a big figure. They can make a lot of changes in this country, and they can make a big difference. So I still believe that I believe that it is possible. This country can be a country where we talk of being a Kenyan, and not talking of I am from this tribe. And I think it should start actually from the religious leaders themselves. Or the worshiping centers or places should not show any tribalism of any kind. Because that is where the unifying point is, that every member within that church or within that mosque or wherever, they feel, and because of that brotherhoodness and sisterhood, within that worshiping place, then it is very easy, actually, it can still transform. So the religious sector, the Gen Z themselves, we come together, we can make a big difference in terms of changing the landscape of ethnicity in this country.
Okay, Bishop. And once more, let me toss it over to Rosemary. Rosemary, over to you.
Within us, we also have representative of the county government, CECM, Gender, Culture and Sports Development. Anaitwa Dr. Ruth Dama Masha, ametuma director, Mr. Mwangome Shuma. Karibu Mr. Mwangome, na tunataka utueleze, how is the county government going to continue this conversation past hii town hall? Na pia, how do you engage the youth as a county government? Asante, karibu.
Thank you. Kwanza kabisa nishukuru kwa sababu ya mkao wa leo. Pongezi kwa serikali ya Mheshimiwa Rais Daktari Ruto kwa sababu hasa ya broad based. Tulipokuwa wanafunzi wa mambo ya maendeleo, development studies, there was a particular saying that goes, the winner takes it all in African governments, ambayo ilileta shida kubwa sana, ambayo paka sasa huwa inaleta mizozo. But thanks to God for the wisdom ambayo Daktari His Excellency alipata kuwaleta wale mahasamu wake ama wale ambao walikuwa maadui zake katika meza ya maendeleo. I think this is the spirit we need. And in the Constitution, I think it should be really be given some prominence, so that at every electoral session, the winner does not take it all, so that everybody feels like his contribution is appreciated. At the local level, I want to thank His Excellency, our Governor, for particularly enhancing the program ya Wezesha Fund, ambayo inaweza kutusaidia makundi ya vijana, wamama na walemavu. Hiyo fund ilikuwa pesa kidogo, but now we have gone almost to 1 billion. The other day we were disbursing checks through the Department of Trade. Na sisi kama idara ya masuala ya vijana na maendeleo ya wanawake, wamama, pia tumeweza kufikia mchana wa leo. My MCAs wetu have prioritized youth and women programs in their various areas of jurisdiction, ambapo wamegawanya vifaa vya kudhibiti uchumi. Kwa mfano, Ganze, yesterday wamegawanya cherehani, almost 20 cherehanis to youth and women groups. Pia kule tuna program ya kulalo. I wish to request His Excellency Daktari Samuel Ruto to make it very targetful, that vijana wa Kilifi wahusike kikamilifu. Asanteni. Retirement age, constitutionally, let it come down so that our young people can get opportunities to serve their own country.
Asante Director. Back to you, Abdi.
Thank you so much. And of course, I would like to sample some of the views because vijana ngambo wanasema wakona la kusema, tutakuja hiyo ngambo pia. But let me slowly come to you, Millicent. We're talking about ethnicity. I posed that particular question to Bishop. He's saying that the church is doing more in addressing that particular concern, and with the current generation, they do not care about the tribal cocoons they come from.
Yeah, thank you for the question about ethnicity, and I wish to speak about it because it's one of our core mandates to be able to bridge all the communities and the nationalities living in Kenya for harmonious and peaceful coexistence. And I want to say, as much as the Gen Zs and the youth say that they do not hold any tribe, but at the heart of our conversation, ethnicity still thrives. And also the leaders that hold these, the offices for which you have elected them, unfortunately, they use ethnicity. And so I want to speak about some of the work that we do, ethnic diversity audits, which we conduct for all public institutions. And it's very ashaming to find a particular county that all the executive is 100% one ethnic community. Yet the National Cohesion Act is very clear that 33% should be preserved for the minority community. What would that particular governor talk about when the whole executive is 100% one ethnic community? What kind of leadership is that? And the truth of the matter, some of those counties, that still persist. And when it comes to distribution of public resources, at the heart of it still, we do that using our ethnic lens. And it's unfortunate that after these many years that we work together, certain individuals would still want to divide Kenya based on ethnic divide. And I want to appeal to the country, I want to appeal to the youth, I want to appeal to all of us. Let us not allow conversations based on ethnic line. We have better things to do as a country. It's high time we progress and to shun all our ethnic divide and forge together towards national unity. So let's shun ethnic division. Thank you.
Let me hand you over now to my colleague Nancy Okore. Nancy, over to you.
Asante sana Abdi Aziz, na kwa kweli vijana wanasema ya kwamba lazima wazungumze, manake ni mazungumzo ya vizazi. Utasimama, utakuja tu hapa karibu, useme jina lako na tafadhali swali moja sekunde 20. Asante.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Biden Odhiambo, a student at Pan University. Now, one of the issues that has been affecting us as comrade or as youths is that the older generation or the millennials doesn't understand us as youths. And one of the main aims of this transgenerational conversation is to bridge the gap between the older generation and the younger generation. We've tried ourselves as youths to understand the older generation, but it seems like the older generation doesn't understand us. And that is the main reason why we hold these transgenerational conversations each and every time. We've aired out our problems as youths, but it seems like the government doesn't understand us. Now, what are some of the steps that government has taken to solve now these our issues as citizens? Thank you.
Asante sana. Mmesikia kwamba millennials ni older generation. Utasimama pole. Utueleze jina lako na swali lako kwa kifupi sana ama mchango wako.
Mimi kwa majina yangu ninaitwa Francis Toya na I only have one thing to put. I think understanding the mind of a young person requires technical and critical thinking. Sometimes vijana tunavurugwa sana hizo akili zetu. Like we are talking of peace at the same time tunavuruga akili. Let us take an example that happened in Kilifi County the other days, that we have always been having a gap between the young people and the police. Under what circumstances is a police allowed to shoot to a young person? Maybe demonstrating and kind of things. Kwa nini bunduki ya mtu wa Kilifi iue mtu wa Kilifi?
Asante, tuko nao viongozi wa usalama hapa, tutakuwa tunapata yale majibu. Kwa kifupi, jina lako na mchango wako.
Asante sana KBC. I am Invan Uchieng, the president of Pwani University Young Leaders Association, Poyola. So this day I'm very happy because of this conversation, and I would like to put across that there is a problem in communication between the youth and the millennials. Why? Because the youths are very much informed. We understand the Kenyan constitutions, we understand how policies are made in this country, and therefore we would like the country to be driven in the way it should be, according to the constitution of the Kenya 2010. Secondly, I would like to pass my question to the IEBC team, that over the time, after every year, 5 years, we have been holding some elections in the Republic of Kenya. And the elections, to some extent, they haven't been that much clean at all. So I would like them, in the next coming election 2027, we are going to have a lot of youths who are going to run for those positions, including myself. So I ask them to make the elections be very much transparent for us.
Asante. Kwa kifupi sana utakuja.
Mimi naitwa Henry Mkare na mimi nasimamia hii project ya Ajira Digital hapa Kilifi North. Shida moja yenye nakumba sisi kama vijana na tusema hii disconnect ikuja kwa miradi ya serikali. Utapata viongozi wetu kila regime ikikuja wanataka walete, kila mtu alete project yake. Hatuna ule uendelevu wa miradi. Kwa mfano, sasa tuko na ile project ya Climate Works. Vijana walifanya interviews, hakuna communication yenye imekuja almost 2 months down the line. Ukiangalia programu ya ajira, initially mandate yetu ilikuwa 5 years. Now 5 years naisha, with the current regime kuna mradi ulikuja wa jitume, haujaweza kuanza vizuri. Sasa utapata every regime ikikuja mradi mpya, hakuna uendelezo. Sisi kama vijana tunafeel tunapotea, kuna mahali hatuko. Ukiangalia pia kwa mfano Vision 2030, now with the current regime ni kama wameshift, wamekuja na programu yao nyingine mpya. So
Asante sana. Kwa kifupi swali lako ama mchango wako.
Thank you. Kwa majina ni John Bosco Ndolo. I'm a student leader in Pwani University. My concern is just a concern. Nataka kusema hivi. Wazee tumewasikiliza, tumesikia venye mmesema, mnataja tu wanarika, the youths. But I have one concern for you guys. That mnasema sana kuhusu wanarika, yet you guys, you are not ready to retire, as my senior friend has said. Mnakaa mpaka unapata a teacher is teaching using a microphone in a class that even he cannot come out for a youth who is learned, having the same PhD as him. Secondly, you are telling us as the youths we want to bring you up. But when you see a certain youth is very vibrant in the community, wazee ndio wanawakanyagia chini politically, and you are not allowing us even to go for the seat. I have been in the political arena. I have seen wazee wanapewa tickets in those parties, and wanarika tunaachwa. Mzee anapewa ticket wadhi akona miaka hata hawezi itisha kura kwa wananchi 10, but is still given the ticket to vie for the same seat. That is very
Thank you so much.
Okay, my name is Byron Andrew, a student at Pwani University. My question goes to NCIC. Of recent, we had some talks, some words were pronounced by the Nyeri governor that is going ethnicity, that is promoting ethnicity. Now the NCIC is going to question Nyeri governor, and they have failed to question the likes of Gladys Wanga, who stood and asked the likes of Rigathi Gachagua not to step in Bondo. Rigathi Gachagua was not attached to Mutahi Kahiga. And in Kenyan constitution, there is a freedom of movement and a freedom of association. Why must we now narrow down? The older generation is narrowing down someone's sentiments to the whole community. Now they are trying to put Luos and Kikuyus to fight.
Asante. NCIC wako hapa, tutapata jibu. Sijui kina dada, jamani. Naam, acha tupate swali hapa nikija upande huo.
Asanteni sana. Kwa majina naitwa Samson Vizo Mangwenje, mimi ni mkazi hapa Kilifi. Tunapenda shukrani kwa hii forum. Mimi kwanza ningependa ni peane point moja yenye imesaulika. Katika hizi gaps zenye nimeona watu wengi wameogopa kusema, kuna greed yenye iko among the leaders ama our leaders ambayo ina result into corruption. No one has mentioned about corruption. And then thanks to our father of democracy, Raila, alisababisha tukaletewa devolution, but devolution haijafika kwa wananchi. Devolution haijafika kwa wananchi kivipi? Unapata the national government ili devolve its unit, so the county governments are administrative, but the people kumfikia imekuwa ngumu kwa sababu kuna hiyo gap ya the administrative, the political elites and the business elite. So to my last point, the disconnect katika units systems, unapata kuwa there is no opposition. Actually, in the county assembly, even the national assembly, you find that there is the leader of minority, but there is no opposition. So it finds the youths wanafanya nini, their grievances wanazileta kule nje kwa sababu we are limited, our freedom of speech has been limited. So I have one question to the security apparatus. We do not have an IPOA office. So the issue that my brother has talked about officers maybe doing their bad things, manake there are good officers and the bad officers. So we have a gap whereby the investigations ama forensics that cannot lead to justice, whereby Kilifi.
Thank you. Itabidi naarifiwa nirejee kwanza kwa Abdi Aziz kisha tutarejea na maswali zaidi.
And of course, we'll be getting views from also the ladies. Kindly raise your hand so that Nancy can see you at the end of the day. But let me first of all, let me start with you, NCIC. I'll be going this way. A question has been asked in terms of the utterances that were made by the Nyeri governor. In just quickly 1 minute, what has NCIC done?
As a matter of fact, we immediately issued a statement. Our chair issued a statement condemning those utterances because the nation indeed is still grieving, and for such utterances to come from a leader, it was not proper. The next step, NCIC has begun investigations, and will allow that investigation to be completed for the next action to be taken. So it's a matter that is already under investigative authority, so I wish not to comment further. And that's why I spoke about ethnic division. It's still very prevalent in our nation, and some certain leaders would want to take advantage of our vulnerabilities for their own political mileage. So it is upon us, the citizens, upon us as the youth, to shun and to condemn in the strongest terms possible. Thank you.
Brian, in a minute also, issues of corruption has been raised in terms of the youth. How do you think can it be addressed?
Yeah, so for the issues on corruption, you find that most of for things to go forward or to move forward in accessing services and even mandated requirements from the government offices, corruption has become something that has been like a key to open doors. So it is something that you're supposed to receive freely, but you have to go through now the gate, and you have the key, that is any funds that you're able to open that door with. Yeah, so as youth, it has become something that we don't want to condone, but even the older generation, we found them in that place, and even when we want to voice it out, becomes now that we are being seen like we don't understand. These things have been there. It is like we are the ones who don't understand. Yeah, so it has become something that we need to voice out and condemn, and even say that we do not stand for corruption in our nation. And it's something that we do not want to see our future generations coming to deal with. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'll take your comments as well, Faith and Bishop. But first of all, let me hand you over back to Rosemary.
Thank you, Abdi. Pia katika peace building kuko na mambo ya art for peace. Peace inafanywa kwa njia mbalimbali, na tuko na mwenzetu hapa ambaye anafanya art na ako na paintings zake hapa. Unaitwa nani? Takushikia.
Okay, sawa. Kwa majina naitwa Jimmy Kimani Karioki Mwiruri. Mimi ni mkazi wa Malindi.
Tupatie message yako kwa sekunde 30.
Message yangu ni kuwa National Cohesion and Integration Commission Kenya and Africa. Namaanisha kuwa hakutakuwa na jambo lolote ambalo tutasherehekea ndani ya jamhuri hii yetu ya Kenya isipokuwa tutamwangalia rais wetu anatuambia nini katika masala ya muungano wa jamhuri huru za Afrika. Wakati kwamba Afrika iungane, watatue Afrika, kwa sababu vijana wasema hawana kazi na kuko na kazi nyingi sana. Rift Valley ile inaondoka ile inaenda na maji ile. Rift Valley tulimuona Kenyatta akiweka mawe. Tulimuona President Moi akiweka mawe. Na haya mawe sahihi imefika kuwe kuna National Youth Conservation kama vile National Youth Service, vijana ambao watachukuliwa waende wakajaze miti miringa. Kuna na ile miti ingine kama mwarubaini, na hii miti itumike kutengeneza dawa na kutengeneza industry na lishe bora. Wakati umefika Afrika iungane, na ndio sababu nimetengeneza pesa za Afrika ile pale, na hii ni Parliament Mess ya Afrika, ambapo mali hii inafaa kuenda kwa familia ya Odinga na ile inafaa kuenda kwa President William Samoei Ruto. Tafadhali sikizeni Ruto anaambia nini Macron.
Asante sana, asante sana. Pia tuko na artists wengine hapa vijana. Kuna msichana hapa naona ameandikwa Crime Si Poa, atatuambia kwa nini ameandikwa hivyo. Anaitwa Apondi the Poet from Kichinjioni. Karibu. Naweza simama.
Kijana fanya nini? Weka panga chini. Weka chini kwa nini? Crime si poa, choose kujiokoa. So kijana wa leo usidanganywe na vileo na video. Kijana wa leo usiingilie madawa ukamea mbawa. Na tunaweza kaa bila ukabila, si mila. Mgiriama, Mkauma, Mduruma, si wote ni simila. So tunaweza kaa bila ukabila. Kijana wa leo usidanganywe na quick riches na Audi. Uishie kwa mauti. Na tuache mabibi na babu, tuache kuwapa tabu. Tushike adabu. Wazee wapewe heshima, mvi ni ishara ya hekima. Tukiwaua wazee, wachawi kina nani? Tukiwa wadogo tuliwategemea, tukiwa wachanga walitulea. Saizi mate tunawatemea kama mapepo tunawakemea. Swali, tukiwa wazee wachawi kina nani? So kijana fanya nini? Weka panga chini. Weka chini kwa nini? Crime si poa, choose kujiokoa.
Asante, asante Apondi the Poet. Tuko na kijana mwingine pia hapa anaitwa Dagolo the Boss. Karibu.
Hizi vitu zote tukizifanya na hii kitu inaitwa social and accountability, naona zitakuwa poa sana. Kwa hivyo kuna nyimbo inalenga hapo. Tunaenda hivi. Social and accountability ni kujua responsibility na kuzifanya hizo activities. Yani kuweza kujidhibiti, kujituma kwenye opportunities. Wakenya tuko nayo katiba yenye miongozo yote, kwa nini tupoteze mida? Halafu mambo yasiwokei. Wakenya tuko nayo katiba yenye miongozo yote, kwa nini tupoteze mida? Halafu mambo yasiwokei. Ya mgambo ikilia ina jambo. Oh, ina jambo.
Asanti. Kabla turudi kwako Abdi, nataka kuambia NCIC iko na ofisi pale kwa County Commissioner, na kuna mwenzetu hapa Hanifa, mweza kwenda kwa hiyo ofisi mwelekeze mengine hapo. Asante.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. Given that we're running out of time, quickly we want to wrap it up, and quickly, so that our audience who are watching us, just in 30 seconds, allow me kindly, Director, to just read one comment from our audience who are currently watching us. They're saying that to ensure peace becomes a lived reality on the ground, not just a policy on paper. That concludes our conversation on Transgenerational. Just tune in next time to see which county is next. Good evening for now.
one of the things we know is that two things fade in life, and that is energy, and the second one is time.
So I think what we should be looking at beyond time management is asking ourselves, are we clear and managing the focus?
The fact that it is your free time, still you don't waste it.
Yes. Don't prioritize your schedule. Yeah? Schedule your priorities.
Ng'ombe atakuzikamua. Na ilivyo kawaida ng'ombe akivizikia mguu malishoni, sharti arudi zizini apate matibabu.
Kazi yako ni nini hapa? It's not your father's office and not even past.
Wewe utanipa heshima zangu. Utaniheshimu na uniite baba.
He doesn't love you, he's just playing around with you. Kama hanipendi, kwa nini unaendelea kuchunguza maisha yake ukijapo ofisini mwake kila wakati?